welcome back to my channel. Ooh, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry, y'all. So today, I'm going to be talking about my transition from civilian to the military. Whoo, child, it was a transition for sure. So I've joined the military. It's been about a year now. Yeah, a year. I joined last year, June. And it has definitely been an experience for me. So I'll talk about 4 things that kind of made my transition a bit difficult. But before that, I'll tell you why I decided to join the military in the first place. So I decided to join the military because of medical school, and I currently go to a military medical school. The process was pretty normal. The process was actually pretty different than joining through the regular channels and the regular route. So I didn't go through a recruiter. I just went through my medical school. And I got into the school around October of 2018. And then I was like, yay, going to medical school. I'm going to be in the military. I'm going to be in the Air Force. Ooh, yay, great things, wonderful things. And then it kind of hit me in January, February, that I'm joining the military. And that means I need to be fit. And if you know me, you know the most lifting that I do is a fork to my mouth. And I did not go to the gym. I actually no, I lied. I used to go to the gym very regularly. Matter of fact, me and my roommate, we would go to the gym during college for 20 minutes. It was a phenomenal time. And I remember this one time that I went to the gym. I walked on the treadmill for 20 minutes. I was all sweaty and disgusting. And I was like, wow, I worked off 3,000 calories in this 20 minutes. I deserve a treat. So I bought Wendy's and Domino's. But that is besides the point. That just to show you guys where I was at in February, and I needed to be in shape by June. So just to get you guys familiar with what we need to do, the Air Force has fitness requirements based on your gender and your age. And so based on my age, I needed to do a 1.5-mile run in less than 16 minutes. I had to do 18 push-ups at least, at minimum, 18 push-ups in a minute, and at least 38 sit-ups in a minute. Hoocha! I could not do one push-up. I could go down, but I surely could not come back up. And so I started working on that journey, and it was tough. The toughest part was honestly the running, and to this day it still is. A year later, it is still the toughest part for me. Because I got, the push-ups and the sit-ups, with training. I eventually got there, and now I could do, some of those. I got some muscles or whatever. Not really, I lost those. But the running was just so strenuous to me. The thought of running by itself made me have such anxiety. And then it was a 3-fold hurdle with that. So one, I couldn't run for that long of a time anyway. I couldn't run for 16 minutes. I couldn't run 1.5 miles, so I couldn't run the time. I couldn't run the distance, and I couldn't run at that speed. And then on top of that, I was getting shin splints. I didn't even know that was a thing, you guys. And that was just something that I had to kind of run through. And honestly, I learned that running is such a mental thing, and I still haven't gotten past that mental thing to this point. I still hate running with all my heart, but I gotta do it. And long story short, I had to commission and go to officer training school, which is I guess you can call it boot camp for officers, in June. And I went there, tried my hardest, and I did a practice test, right, at training. And the time that I had to run the 1.5 miles in was 16 minutes and 22 seconds. And I ran it in 16 minutes and 45 seconds. When I tell you tight, when I tell you upset, words can't even describe how I felt. I was ugly crying. I mean, hyperventilating, snot coming, like all of that. It was just not cute. Because that was the first time I think I've ever experienced doing my best at something, like doing my absolute best at something, and it just not being enough. And I didn't know what to do with myself at that point. But the happy ending to that story is that a few months later in September, I had to take the test again, but for real this time. And I had been practicing and training, and then some of my classmates actually ran the 1.5 miles with me, and I was able to pass the run. So yeah, your girl's athletic now. Not really. I still have to keep training because I hate running. The second thing that made the transition hard was not being able to relate to a lot of people. And that's something I didn't expect. I went in and I'm the only person from my family who's in the military. I didn't really know any other military people. The most I knew about the military was the shows that I watched, like SEAL Team and stuff like that. And that's all I had. So being around people who, one, where most of them were not my age, like most of these people were older, they had lives already, they had families, they were already serving in the military sometimes, they had careers already, they had houses, they had kids. And I was like, I'm just 22, I literally just graduated college a few months ago, and I don't know anything about this. So that was really a struggle for me to find people to relate to, on top of the fact that I'm Black and a female. And in my class, I was the only, or am the only Black female in my class. So that was super difficult to wrap my head around. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I went to HBCUs all my life, nor have I ever gone to a HBCU. So I'm kind of used to being one of few, but being the only, that was definitely a shock for me. But I tried my hardest to get involved, to just find things that I was interested in, join interest groups, join different clubs, and started doing some research just to get myself more acclimated to the culture and the climate. The other thing was that I was in the military. I know that sounds kind of stupid to say, but like sometimes I have to say to myself to really believe it. So figuring out people's rank and what that meant on the uniform, and people's uniforms look so similar. So if somebody's walking down the hallway, I gotta spot you, figure out what branch you're in, and then try to read the letters or the symbol on your uniform to figure out what rank you are, to see if I need to salute you or not, all within a few seconds before you got close enough to me. That was difficult. And then honestly, still just knowing the ranks it takes you a few months to learn. The third thing, well, that was the third thing. The fourth thing that was difficult to me, and it still is difficult for me, is the accountability piece. I'm used to, I want to go to Mexico, I want to go to Italy, I want to go wherever I want to go, so I'm about to buy my ticket, save up, buy my ticket, and I'm about to catch a plane here, gonna flight there, do a little something, and I'm out, like, that's it. Once I had my money, I was good to go. And once I had the time off from school, I'm good to go. But in the military, you have to be accountable. Like, your time off has to be approved, and where you're going has to be approved. So it went from being like, okay, I'm about to plan a trip in a month or 2 months, to I need 2 months to get this approved before I can plan the trip in 2 months. So it kind of doubled that time for me, and it's just weird always like having someone know where you are. I don't know if that's weird for you guys, but it kind of is weird for me. But I'm getting used to it. I kind of have to get used to it. I'm only a year in. I got quite a few more years to go. So those are just a few of the things that I felt were made it a little bit difficult or challenging for me, or things that I didn't expect in joining the military and being in med school, but I'll talk about the med school piece in another video. So if you guys have any more questions about like my experience or things you want me to talk about in the military, let me know. And I'll get back to you guys with it. The last thing that was difficult for me with joining the military was my hair. That sounds silly, I know, but my hair. I'm used to the wigs, the weaves, the red wig, the color, the blonde. Like, I'm used to switch it up. I don't ever like having my hair the same. I like to do, some dreads. I like to do some braids. I like to switch it up, do some colors. I like to have different personalities, be a different person, you feel me? Like, I want to be Tina today, Mo tomorrow. Yeah, I get what I'm saying. And in the military, you have regulations that you have to kind of abide by. And hair color is definitely not one of those things that you can necessarily do. And then also, your hair has to look a certain way. And it was actually just recently that the military allowed braids, dreads, twists for people doing their hair. So I just can't even imagine what the women, especially the black women, went through before that was passed. Like, I don't even know what they did with their hair, because I basically wear twists in my hair every day for school. So that is definitely something I didn't think about, no one necessarily warned me about, or something I didn't think was going to be a big deal, but to me it is. But I'm getting through it. So because of that, I've gotten better at making my buns slicker and neater. It may not be that slick today. I see these fuzzies, sorry. But I've also been able to do more creative styles with my natural hair. So I guess that's a blessing in disguise. So that's all for today, you guys. Thank you for watching and getting your daily dose of melanin. See you guys in the next video.